Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, Masters of the Air, the waist gunners from the B-17s, brought to life in resin from Mitches Military Models, who do these wonderful resin figures. So this is a kit, two kits, that have been very kindly, and then it said donated. Wash my mouth out, you won't like me saying that. You'll be getting very twitchy. I mean loaned by a good friend Lee Smith. Well, thanks Lee. Let's have a look at these then. They're really heavy. These are £100 each, but there's a reason, because there's a lot of resin in here and they're quite heavy. So we're going to look at A, which I think I'm right in saying is the starboard side first. I'm a little bit nervous. I get very nervous about resin because of the resin dust. Almost minded to put on a mask, but I won't. I'm going to take my time. So what you start off with is lots of goodies, I guess. I think this is all I didn't open, isn't it? So there's all sorts of things to see, and I'm not going to go through every single piece because I think it could take too much time. I want to see both of them. But you get different bags, lots and lots of very sensible protective packaging. We've got the sliding window shields, bulletproof shields on the windows, and we have got pieces of the interior. Yeah, we've got pieces of the interior of the aircraft structure, and then we've got this huge bag at the bottom with all the big stuff in, including the exterior. So, I just point out to you first of all that there are, these are the wires, the suspension wires, which hold up the gun, and the wires that are there to help you position the gunner. But we'll have a look at the instructions first. Yeah, it's certainly an impressive setup, isn't this? And it says, I think I may have read this out already, but basically it says it's 3D cast set based on the B-17 F model flown by Robert Rosenthal, the 100th Bomber Group, USAAF, based at Thorpe Abbotts in England in World War II. Some of the 3D parts are for the airways and the wires attached to the figures. Please remove these parts from the supports using a heat gun or similar, or soaking them in hot water. These methods can also be used to straighten any cast resin parts which may be warped. We mentioned about the guns because sometimes we get a bit warped. Quite easy to, you just put it in some hot water or use a heat gun. Probably hot water's better, it's just safer. Dry fitting all parts is recommended. You may require to do a bit of filling at the joints. Now, 2 standalone models for each forming half of the fuselage. They can be joined to form one model, but in doing so it will hide a lot of the interior details. The problem, the bases included are designed to support both halves of the model. Oh, so that's the base, is it? Oh, that's the base, so I misunderstood that. Okay, that's clever then. So these are actually the 2 parts of the base. I get it now. So it actually works kind of like as you see it here. Zoom in a bit. So that's actually the base on which it stands, like so. So I've got that over there, and we'll get into the big stuff first. First of all, we start with the figure himself. And you'll have all seen, I actually took a photo which I'm just going to pop up for you because I think this puts it in a bit more perhaps clarity context, if you just bear with me 1 second. And it is, yeah, this is the photo that we need to see, and you can see straight away there that you've got the 2 sides. So on the right is the starboard side and left is the port side, I think. And they have sliding bulletproof shields that they have at the window, of course. So that's what you're going to end up with, and there's the wires that suspend from the top. They're like a safety wire, so it doesn't fall out the window, basically, one of the things. Also to hold the gun in position. There you go, so that's what it's going to look like. And we have got our ammunition belts, coming closer, ammo belts, here we go, feeder belts. With all your 50 cal. Look on the other side, it's probably easy on this side, isn't it? So your 50 cal bullets and your ammo feed chute there. We've got our torso. I mean, some of these will obviously need a bit of a clean up. That's the nature of resin kits though, to be honest. Got your torso. Now on the other one, strangely, one of the legs was attached, wasn't it? Which I thought was a bit odd. And here we got the gun, which indeed got a slight bend to it. Just want a little bit of a... get the old hot water on it and it'll be fine. And it's got the cocking handle there. Very, very good though. Nice detail. Couple of legs. And I say they're heavy, these, you know, there's a lot of resin here. Other leg. See how it fits in actually. Let's just get them to fit in. Will they fit? Or am I being a bit unrealistic there? No, it does, look, there we go. Let's get making it. Look, I can do that. Surely I can do that. There we go. There you go. Straight away you're getting an idea of what it's like. So this is the guy that is on the port side. That's the sort of position he stands in. And then we've got all the other critical small parts, heads and arms and things, which we'll have a look at. Here's his head. He's got his oxygen mask on and his goggles, sunriser goggles. I'm not going to get every part out, there's a real danger of losing them and I don't want to do that under any circumstances. And then we've got the forearms here, part of the forearm, the right arm and the left arm there. It's always tricky to photograph pictures of resin, it's a nightmare. And then we have got the fleece. They used to wear these fleece jackets, didn't they? For warmth, because it was damn cold up there, you know. Well below freezing. That's often up to -20, -30 at altitude. And there is the fleece, which looks really good. I don't know, it's coming out on the camera. Really nice bit of fleece there. That's really good. So there's a small part. I won't get the others out because I'm just going to danger of losing them. I don't want to do that. So don't want to risk these parts. We just stick to the biggish parts, I think, that we're not going to lose. So we'll pop those back in there. Gently. I'm sure we got everything. So that's set. That's the pilot figure himself. The gunner figure, I should say. Gunner figure himself. Here's very interesting. We've got these, and these are just a jig. So I'm going to have to zoom you back because they're so big. All they are is a jig to make sure that you actually position and glue together at the right angles the actual shape of the side of the fuselage, which is really good. It actually has some writing on them as well. And it says, do not glue, guide only, do not glue, it says. It's just purely for you to get to use as a jig to ensure that you get the correct angles for your fuselage, which is very, very good. Two of them. And then we have got the sliding shields, which I mentioned, bulletproof shielding, which they have on the windows, which they slide back and forth. Obviously we've got bulletproof, they've got some, was that on the floor? Wait a second, well, this more like the floor to me. This is more the floor, I think. Overhead. Sure what that is? I think I'm wrong here, I don't think that is the shielding. Yeah, here we've got the floor. This is, yeah, it's the floor piece here, because we've actually got some spent empty shells on the floor, which you can probably just about make out because it's in properly. There we are. There's the spent shells on the floor. I think that actually mounts in the side like that. That goes on the floor. That piece, these are the shields I was talking about. Just getting a bit ahead of myself there. This is the shielding, the bulletproof armour plate shield. It seems a bit warped. Is it supposed to be that shape? I think it is. I think they have like a bit of a, yeah, it's not warped. it is actually the correct shape, I can tell from the photos. So you just need to clean that up, and obviously cutting off the 3D print's been done there, but and a clean up of this flash. So a little bit of cleanup required. It's not like a plastic kit that comes and it's all clean. These things do need some work. So there we go. That's very, very nice. And just put that in the wrong one, haven't I? Goes in there. Goes in there. Very, very good. But I like the way they come in all these different. I don't think it's slightly confusing. It says A. Every bag seems to say A in it, but that's because it's telling you that it's A side. In case you've actually bought, as has Lee, bought both sides. There's all the spent shells that are on the floor. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Done that really well. And you've got more parts of the sides of the fuselage here. And then you've got the various bits of the structure where you can stand here. Putting all the big bolts in it. It's the structure like the plating you stand on. And you've taken it to your firing positions. And so on. Okay, so there's a few that are really not that exciting there, so I'll put those back. But those spent shells, that is really, really epic, isn't it? Fantastically done. Like that. Then, last but not least, well actually we've got two more to go. But the biggest bag of all has got the sides of the fuselage itself, complete with the external structure. Zoom back for this one. Definitely. Complete with the external structure, look at that. And battle damage, look, some battle damage from the firefight. So it's actually, yeah, it's actually kind of that way, I think. Is that right? Yes, it is. That piece and this piece kind of go together. Bom, bom, bom. Is it like that? I think it is. So it goes. It's a bit hard to follow. There's quite a lot of. Oh, I see. No, it's like that. Okay, I see how they interlock like a tongue and groove. Not quite the same angle though. That's a little bit. And it does need a lot of clean-up. There's a lot of clean-up needed here. But on the other side, get a bit of an idea. So it's got a tongue and groove, but it's not very clean. So it's gonna. The angle's a bit wrong here. So I'm not sure. I'm sure that does go in there, but it's not. Can you see that this is more rounded? And more of an angle to it, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I think you might need to use some hot water. But a little bit of work to be done on these, I think. Again, you've got scattered spent bullet cases on the floor. More bits of the internal structure here. Yeah. Quite a lot of detail on the inside, the ribs and things, and then you've got like a spar here. This goes up. This actually supports. This is the floor where he stands, basically. It's nice, isn't it? It's just not quite like a plastic, injection molded kit. It's a typical resin kit where you're going to have to do clean up of the resin moulding, and you've got some fairly hefty parts there. I'm not entirely convinced that those are. A little bit of work is going to be needed to clean up the in terms of the shaping. Also, you've got here this some of the piping work, and that's the internal piping in the aircraft, things like heating and oxygen piping. Let me come back now. A little bit hard to show, is this? Might make more sense when I show the instructions in a second. I just need to. I don't want any of this resin getting too airborne. Parts of the resin. Chunks are okay, but I think it's when it's dust you're in trouble. Finally, we've got this one that says A, and then we've got some very small parts that are on the. These are the overhead wires and things that it mentions in that right up at the beginning. Some of the smaller parts, things like the controls. to control the powering of the shields and the windows. And then we've got other things like, we've actually got what looks like the parachute. Yeah, it is. The gunner's parachute, emergency parachute. Here it is. Zoom in on this. There's the parachute to go on his back. It's nice, isn't it? Got the big D ring at the top, pull ring. See, I think it's the way around, it'll be the bottom, won't it? I think I'm right. Did they pull it at the top or the bottom? Experts amongst you will know that, I guess. It's not like the one I had on the Spitfire. That was the one you pulled it down across your chest. And here we've got the oxygen bladder, oxygen bottle that they use. It's all there. It's a lot of detail. Some of the parts are really clean, some are not so clean and need a lot more cleaning up. Then we've got the brackets here. These are like control units, so that powers the screen, I think. It's all there. It's all there. There we go. A lot of parts. A heck of a lot of parts. Let's just have a quick look at the instructions though. If I zoom back, you make more sense of it now, I think. So it shows how each part, where they go. It's fairly well. Perhaps could have been a bit bigger, but apart from that, fairly clear, I think. Why does it show this twice? It's true. 2 pages the same. And it shows you how you put your pilot together, how to assemble the hands, how to bring all the body together. You've got all these formers that have to go in for the little bulkheads. How to mount it on the base. I think it would have been better if it had not made it so tiny, the actual illustrations. I think being a bit bigger would have been better. And then how it all goes together, complete the tail section. Now the way they're showing this, it gives me the impression, A and B, how you put them together. I see. I was going to say it gives me the impression that it's the other side, but that's because they're showing both. So you click them together, they actually slot together. Just requires a lot of patience, I think, manipulating these things and trimming it. And if you start doing any sanding, just joking apart, it's very important that you do use a mask. Any of this dust, you don't want to be inhaling it at all. I'm speaking as an asthma sufferer, so I know about issues with respiration, and you don't want to be. Sorry, that needs to go there. You don't want to be inhaling any of the dust from these kits. Very, very important. Any resin, it's always the same story, really. Extremely poisonous. So there we go. There's a lot in it. I can see why it's £100. There's a heck of a lot of resin. I'll put that at the bottom. And then we'll perhaps have just a very brief, perhaps a briefer look. So I think there'll be a lot of replication in the set. And we don't want to spend too long on it. So let's just pop these in. So that's your bases. Very nice. Then you've got this huge set, big parts that go on there. Pilots go down the side. And then we just tuck it all in nicely. Not like a kit from certain manufacturers, certain distributors I should say, that I've mentioned recently. Just hurl it in and out for the best. We don't do that here. Lovely. Oops. Right, okay. There we are. We have it. Back in. It's a bit tricky though. It's a little bit one of those Jack-in-the-Box style because I'm not sure how they did the first one. That's the first one. So that was the A side, which is the starboard side. B side, more of the same, to be honest. Just posed slightly differently. So we won't dwell on this for too long. See if there's anything that strikes us. And as I mentioned, it is interesting because I don't know whether this has just been clicked in. I think it may be the case. Someone's just snapped it in. But we've got one of his legs on. Look, it appears to be glued. I don't quite understand that. Has that been done at the factory? I like that when I took it out the other day. Strange. Anyway, it's not a bad thing. So you got that one, and you got the other leg here, which actually won't go in because there's some really horrendous flash there that's going to stop it. But basically, it goes in that sort of position. Just zoom in a bit. Very interesting though, aren't they? Big chunky figures, aren't they? Look at that. That's what you call a figure, isn't it? And then we did see this very briefly, similar sort of thing that I showed the other day. I will just show you this hand though, because in this case it's got that slightly different pose. So we've got the arms with their gloves on, which I think is worth seeing. I'm going to just grab those for you. So we've got the arms and the gloves. Look at this. The gloves are fantastic. Look at this. Check that out. Isn't that nice? You see, he's got the fur lining on the around the glove at the base, on the wrist. Very, very good. Oops. Amazing. Really cool. Definitely, yeah, I can see why it's costing £100. There's a heck of a lot of figure and a lot of aircraft in this box. And they're big, you know, you see what they're like when they're made up. They're very impressive as well. So, it's a kit that requires perhaps slightly different skill levels to normal. If you're a figure painter and builder though, you probably got no problem with it. That's it. And again, you get a replication of the bodywork on the other side all over again. Amazing stuff. Very, very animated figures with a lot of presence. So there you go. So that's your B-17 Waste Gunners A and B from Mitches Military Models. Quite a lot of just rolling, just going to get rid of all the resin bits in it. In my hands as well. But I've got the gloves on. What do you think though? Quite impressive. I mean, marks out of 10. It's very hard to give it marks out of 10 because I'm not experienced in these things. I'd say it's a 9, sort of a 9 out of 10 because there is a bit of clean-up. Quite a bit of clean-up was required, certainly on that A side I noticed. It's going to be a bit of work. It's going to take your time. Not something to rush. 16 scale resin kit like that. £200 worth there. Incredible. £200 worth. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And it would be, you know, it would be higher, but there's quite a lot of clean-up. It's a different sort of type of model than what I'm used to. Certainly wouldn't want to put you off it. We've seen I've got the Sharky Wood figure, so I've got my own one to do. Although that doesn't require an awful lot of work, it's really all about painting. These are a bit trickier. These require a bit more finessing, especially when you saw those, you know, the actual shape of the fuselage exterior. Certainly on the A side, I think it was going to need a little bit more work. Not all that straightforward. But very rewarding, and when you see the finished product, it just blows your mind, you know. Fantastic. Anyway, thank you to Lee for loaning that to us. Hope you thought it was interesting. Might make you inspired to go and get your own Masters of the Air figures, and or maybe other figures. They've got some fantastic stuff. They've got the SAS Iranian Embassy Raid in 1980. They've got Blackadder Goes Forth, which you probably saw the photos of I'd taken. They've got a lot of World War I British soldiers. They've got Bridge Too Far figures that are like the characters of the actors' faces. Very well done, especially Sean Connery and Edward Fox. And then they've got lots of things like Henry V and his horse. Lots of historic figures, Grenadier Guards and all sorts. Hussars. Have a look at their catalogue. MitchesMilitaryModels.co.uk, definitely worth a look. Anyway, thanks very much. It's 9 out of 10 from me. Thank you very much to Lee for loaning it to us. And we will be back very soon with some other items to review, including some from ICM. And I look forward to giving you the heads up on those very soon. Till then, thanks a lot for watching. Take care of yourselves. Thanks a lot and bye for now.